Good morning. We would like to start our meeting right now. We're going to call the meeting to order at 10:05, August 13th, 2023. So I'd like to welcome everybody here, and the first thing on our agenda is to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we will have the roll call of officers.
Terry Perillo.
Here.
Dave Owens.
Here.
Ray Bauer.
Here.
Jerry Parks.
Here.
Jim Reinhardt. Here. Kerry Levan.
Here.
Ryan Kennedy.
Here. Okay, we
have
need
a
our quorum. All board members are here. Next on our agenda is the reading of the minutes from June 25th. And we take a motion to accept as printed.
Accept.
Carrie makes a motion to accept them as printed,
I'll second.
seconded by Dave Owens. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. Under reports, we want to make a few things clear that we're finding out. You know, in the last 2 years, this park has gone through a big change. All of our rules are different. We're following the Illinois Condo Association rules as close as possible, which we hadn't done for 30 years or so. But we're making changes, and we're finding things out. Our attorney's letting us know things that have to be done, don't have to be done. You notice there was no sign-up sheet today. You don't take sign-ups at the meetings. The only thing we have to announce is that everybody here is a lot owner. This meeting is for lot owners. So if you're not a lot owner, you should not be at this meeting. All right? So we make that announcement, and that's all we have to do. So at your owners meeting, that's when we take attendance of all lot owners that are there, but not at the board meeting. All right? Again, welcome to everybody. It's good to see a good crowd. It's, you know, there's been a lot of things going on in the park lately, a lot of talk going on. I've seen more happy faces in this park than in a long time. So we're real pleased with a lot of the things that are going on. Other board members will be talking about some of those things and some new things too. With that being said though, there's a lot of concern over the special assessment. Now, when the budget is presented, we present it in October. Then we've got to get it out right away, and we vote on it in November. At that time, in October, we could not get the pricing on the pools. They couldn't get it to us quick enough to get it in the budget. So therefore, we couldn't put it as part of the budget because we didn't know how much it was going to be. So we passed the budget. At that time, we had gotten the price. But if we tried to redo the budget, we wouldn't have been able to pass the budget until into late December. And the dues are due January 1st now. So it didn't make sense to do it that way. So we had to, the only way that made sense was to do it as a special assessment. It's the same amount of money as if you add that to last year's budget. Whatever your dues were, and you got the special assessment, if you put those prices together, would have been what your dues would have been for the year. So it's not a penny more, it's exactly what they would have been. So I don't want anybody to think that this cost them more money or anything. It's the way we had to do it. We didn't like doing it that way, and we're starting our budget meetings much earlier now. We're learning how we have to go forward with things, you know. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that everything doesn't always run as smooth as we would like, but we're trying to be upfront with you on everything and let you know what's going on. We try to help, you know, with questions as much as possible. We get a lot of them. So bear with us. We're trying our best. All right? Thank you. At this time now, I'd like to ask the Vice President, Dave Owens, any remarks?
Good morning. Again, I'd like to echo his view that it's nice to see a good crowd here. It's really good to see people out involved. My comments are simple this time. As the park is more crowded, that we watch our electrical use. At nighttime, there's still a lot, not solar lights, regular lights on outside when the people are not here. We really need to conserve. It costs all of us, the electrics. Please turn them off. They don't need to be on timers. Shut them off when you leave, when you're not here. Secondly, with more activities going on, which I give Brian all the kudos in the world, he has put together, the activities have been phenomenal. There's more people in the park. The speeding is a little wild sometimes. Remember, you are responsible for your guests. So sit on them before they come out to have fun. Okay, other than that, I'm solid, I'm good, thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Realty report, Ray Bauer.
Good morning, everyone. During July of 2023, there were 5 closings at Woodsmoke Ranch. Money paid to Woodsmoke was $3,519.20. During 2023, there have been a total of 24 closings, with the association receiving $20,064. There were 72 sales in 2022, with the total amount going to Woodsmoke, the total of $58,014.56, and that concludes the realty report.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Jim Reinhardt, rules and regulations.
Yes, we're working on them within the next couple of weeks. We will we'll be meeting and finalizing the rules and regulations. We're going to be sending them to our attorney for approval, and then we will codify, and then we will actually send them all out to you. And we'll have an owners meeting, which our next owners meeting is the budget meeting in November. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we're going to be out of town. That's our next owners meeting is in October when we do the budget. We will hopefully get them there and then present them at that time. And then for next year, we can get this going.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Security, Jerry Parks.
Hi, everybody. I don't know where to even start. All right, our Speedy, like Dave said, you're liable for your guests. On your guest pass, it says, our rules. The lot owner is responsible. When somebody does something wrong and then you guys come up to us and say, hey, yeah, it was my guest. Well, you're responsible. We have to hold the lot owner accountable for it. Look, this park is overgrowing. It's growing. You know, we have more and more different, you know, we have 1,500, almost 1,500 lots in here. Crime in this park is 0. We have these people on Facebook when we have a broken window or something. Everybody assumes things on this fairy tales and everything, and this park is shit. This park ain't shit. This park is great. You know, and it's up to us all to look out for each other as a neighbor. If you see something that's not in line, call us. Call us at the guard check. We'll come check it out. If you see a kid wandering on the wrong lot, you know, it's not even always wandering kids. There's wandering guests that were drinking at a campfire and wander off and accidentally throw a beer bottle and bust it or something. But we don't have crime here. You know, we have a small little village here, and we do really, really good. I have the help of all these boards. We have more security out there than ever before in this park. We are really good, and the lost children, everything. And last year we got a lot of noise complaints about Pavilion 2. That is a common area that we rent out. People pay money to have their weddings, their stuff here, and we know it gets to the noise. But by 12, that thing is shut down. It's just like if this lot owner has a party, they don't like his music, we get a lot of complaints. But if this guy does, and a lot of people like his music, we don't get complaints. But hey, everybody has that right. They rent that thing, they get to use it. We're working on a way to figure out how it helps the park by shutting it down a little bit earlier and at a certain time. We got things we're working on. But, they're here too, just like every other lot owner, to pay their money. They rent it, they do park. They rent it out the whole guest camping. That's all money for the park and everything. But they're respectable. We don't have nobody disrespectful. And I got one thing to say about that. Facebook, please, this is our happy place. A lot of people come here, and it's our happy place to get away from the complaining, the crying, and everything. We all have to learn to get along here. And if not, maybe this might not be the place for what you're looking for. You know what I mean? But this is not a retirement center. This is a Woodsmoke Ranch campground for everybody to get away from their hustle bustle to relax and get to know each other. So please, like I said, look out for everybody and just let us know. But there's no major crime in here. I just want to clarify that. None whatsoever. So, and with all that, that's all I get to say. Oh, horse rides. We're having a horse event coming up the 19th. Yep. The 19th, we're having horse rides for the kids and adults if they want to. We're serving hot dogs. But this year we have to sign a waiver. So if you're coming, come early. We're going to have a table there for the adults to sign for the children to ride the horses. Okay, this is to protect you guys and to protect us, But we're all volunteer. We have a big volunteer staff. The horse stables is going to put in horses. We got people coming from other places that used to have horses here that are helping also. And if you'd like to help with the horse, come help us, We're going to always use somebody for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It doesn't matter. So, again, please come out, enjoy. Like we said, we put on so many. We've been working all year for all these bands and everything this year for everybody to have a good time. So we're doing our best to try to pump it up. And I would like to say, too, for all our volunteers, all the people behind the scenes that nobody hears about, thanks to all of them. That's all I got.
Thank you. Nice job, Jerry.
Recreation, Carrie?
All right, we done a movie night last night. It was so crowded last night, and we blew the projector bulb. We went to get the spirit bulb made in China, and that didn't work so good. So we're in the position of getting a new projector and
Fixed.
we'll get another movie night out there something really soon.
We'll do another one.
It was a good crowd and a good movie. Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
But we only got to Toy Story 2.
We only got to 2.
But
Little mishap, but
we got a couple events coming up Labor Day. If you guys got any old tattered American flags, you can bring them up to the rec office or bring them up in the office and we'll dispose of them come Labor Day. So with that said, that's about it, you guys.
volunteers.
Oh, we're always looking for volunteers.
Please.
If you guys want to come up and help for the kids' craft or whatever, just come on up and, spend an hour with us. That would be much appreciated. But other than that, you guys have a good holiday coming up.
All right, thank you, Carrie. Special events, Brian Kennedy?
Good morning, everyone. Getting back to the horse event real quick, I just want to say, we're going to end it at noon because those horses and the people that are walking their horses in circles, last year we didn't really have an end time and people started fading out, the horses were getting tired, people were getting tired. So rather than dropping the horses and then everybody, those who felt like they needed to stay and their horses were just exhausted, it's at noon. So make sure if you want your grandkids or your kids to be there, get there early, get in line, because at noon Like, we'll still serve hot dogs to a round of hot dogs, but the horses are gonna,
Retired.
I hate to say the event's gonna drop dead. We don't want that. Noon is the cutoff for that event, as far as horse rides go, and that's just for the horses and the horse owners who are walking in circles. I don't know, 3 hours in circles. It's like driving NASCAR. I want to thank all of our volunteers. This year we've done some new events, some really big events, and it's taken a lot of people to pull it off. And I appreciate everybody that's helped out, everybody who signed up for future events. If you want to get involved, it doesn't matter if it's for 2 hours or a whole day, whatever it is. Volunteer at wsr@gmail.com. If you email me, we put you into a list, and then when we're looking for upcoming stuff, I try to email that out. I don't necessarily email at every event now, because we have a really good core group, and it fills. They're like, hey, if you need me, I want to do this, I want to. So certain events, you might not get an email for it, because we've already got people. But we can always use more people, because we want to grow more events. We have, hopefully everybody saw it, the Hollow West Fest. It's going to be a smaller, half the amount of time, but it's probably going to be, I'm going to guess, twice as many people. We all know how busy Halloween is around here. Should be a good day. Let's all pray for good weather, because it's an outdoor event. And we're trying to encourage everybody to walk, trick or treat your way up to the western town, hang out with us. We're going to have 2 hay rides running. It's kind of a shuttle back to predetermined areas. The map will on Facebook. I'm going to get it up here in the office. We're probably going to include it in the next email that we send out, so you can see the different stops that we're going to have. Its main purpose is to get you back to your lot. It's not to say that if there's room, you can't hop on and hit that trolley back. But its main purpose is to make sure that people can, their grandkids might tuck around at 7. We can get back if you want. But we're still going to have parking up here and everything else. But we're trying to encourage, knowing where we were for West Fest, and knowing the volume of people in the park for Halloween, we want to make sure that we're trying to accommodate everything. So we extended the trick-or-treating by an hour, and hopefully allow some to trick-or-treat their way up here. The pumpkin carving contest, we're going to do the costume contest in the morning before all the kids get wiped out and their makeup smeared and their angel wing gets broken. But bring your pumpkin up that morning, because we're going to use those pumpkins. We're going to separate them by age group, get our winners, and be ready to announce them in the evening. But that's going to be part of the decoration around the main stage. We're going to light them all up. So bring your pre-carved pumpkins to the costume contest in the morning. Because by the time you show up for the contest itself, we're already going to have our winners. So make sure you bring them in the morning. West Fest was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody. The turnout was awesome. You'd sit down here on the boardwalk. You were bartending down here on the boardwalk. You look up to that hill, and it was just people deep, and it was really good to see. It did my heart good to see that many people coming out, having a good time. That's what Woodsmoke is. Bringing people together and just having a good time and having fun. So make sure you come out for West Fest, for the Halloween Fest. Road repairs are going to start tomorrow in here. I'm sure everybody saw the grinder out front. Road repairs are going to begin tomorrow here. And they're going to be in the park for several weeks, because he's got a ton of driveways that he's also doing. If he hasn't gotten back to you, he's told me he's got all the estimates done. He had some health issues, and he hasn't been able to get people their estimates. But while he's here, he's going to be chasing all those people. He's going to be contacting people. He assured me, he said, people might be a little aggravated now, but when I get in that park, he goes, I'm going to change everybody's perspective on me. He apologized up and down. His health issue was bigger than I thought when I talked to him the other day. He came out and we went back and we surveyed everything. And hang in there. And when you see him, if you see him out there, stay out of his way. But if you haven't gotten your estimate, don't be afraid to approach him. This is how contractors are. Sometimes you got to chase them down. But the park is going to be doing some road work. And those who are having the road work done right in front of their lots are going to be directly affected. You guys probably already got notices. We kind of started a new thing. We know in advance that there's gonna be, an issue in the road or something that's going to affect you, we've got door hangers made up, our staff goes out and we hang them on your trailer so that you guys, if you are aware, if you come to the trailer, we can only, everybody, communication, there's only so much we can do. So the door hangers have been hung up on your trailer, and it tells you the dates, and we're gonna try to do that for other things when we know there might be a major electrical repair or a water something that we have to do, and we can schedule that. We're gonna try to get those out the weekend before on your trailer as well, so that you guys know. Tomorrow, as long as they stay on schedule, we're gonna have a walkout with ComEd for the solar field. So we'll have hopefully more to do with that, and have more to report on the next one. This is the first time that I'm aware of that ComEd's actually coming out. So, it was supposed to be last week, so I could talk about it, but they called and rescheduled it for tomorrow. So, hopefully the next meeting I'll have more to update on that. Other than that, again, I thank all the volunteers and those who haven't volunteered yet but want to. I thank you too, because it takes all of us to make these things successful. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate your patience as we're changing and growing and doing what we need to do, because we're going to make this place better than it's been, and it's a pretty good place. So,
Wait, say something real quick. And volunteers, we just don't have events. We do have a garden club and other things you can volunteer for if you're not wanting to help with events. We have other things that we could use volunteers for also.
So those are the, I mean, everything, the stagecoach, everything, and I see a couple of our main garden people in here, and I can't thank you enough. The park looks nice when you come in, you guys are busting your butts out there to get it to this, and we appreciate that very much. So if you don't want to come and help an event, you don't like crowds, whatever, there's a hose, you can go water by yourself. We've got something for everybody.
Well, that kind of came out wrong.
So, yeah, no, thank you.
All right, thank you, Brian. Old business, being no old business, new business. We have to vote on repair bill for our pump out truck of, for snow dance to do a major repair, $4,667.17. I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
I'll second that.
Did somebody
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Withdraw McGraw.
All right, Dave. And Jerry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no nays, motion carries. All right, the next part of our meeting is a chance for our lot owners I'm sure we can just do away with this. I don't think anybody wants to talk.
I think you're right.
All right, so please, in orderly fashion, if we call on you, stand, give your name and lot number, and give us your question. All right? Yes, sir.
Morning. Regarding Jerry, or what you talked about.
Lot and name, please.
Oh, Jim Bailey, 985. PA2, being loud and all that, most people pay money. And that's understandable. You want to have a good time, you got a party going on. However, there is such a thing as decibel level.
Yes.
And my question is, okay, maybe there's a wedding, whatever they're having. Why does all 1,500 lot owners have to hear their music? Why do we have to hear it? That's a very small space. I know the music's going to travel a little bit because it's open. But I don't want to hear somebody's music at 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes I have to get up and go to work. So I'm here, I pay a lot of money to be here also. A lot more than they pay for that facility.
Well, there are a lot of owners also, too. But like you said, it's one of our common areas that we rent out. And it's been like that for years, which we're working at some to try to make things different and easier. But as of right now, I mean, that's just like if you have a wedding, you have the right to rent that spot and be there also.
That's what they love.
Yes.
Somebody called,
Wait. We will be working on that in the rules and regulations.
Calls and says, hey, I gotta complain, this music's too loud. I think I talked to Dave Oldest about it a couple years
Can't hear
ago.
He talked to you about the
Yeah.
music,
You said to me,
music too loud?
About
The music too loud.
if
Last
you
night?
can hear
No.
music
No.
two
Before.
trailers away, then it's the chill, you call security. That's what you said. So, what's the problem with calling, you know, the guard gate? I've done this. So, hey, the music's too loud. Well, they get it to midnight. You can't do anything about it. Why can't we send security up there and go, hey, turn it down a little bit?
See, security did go up there, and I spoke to them myself, I had a board member with me, and they did lower
I'm
decibels.
talking in general, I'm not talking.
Right, you know, they just
Well,
like,
listen, last night was probably the worst case scenario we've ever had of loud music that would hurt your ears with the bass being so loud and everything. We realize this, that people are, because it's what, $50, $75 to rent that place, there's more and more weddings, more and more big events up there and everything. You know, when we have a band up there, they play from 7:30 to 11. But when somebody rents it, you're listening from music from noon till 11. And if you live around there, especially, you can't even sit outside in the daytime. And we realize this. Things are changing. We have to change. We have to make rules accordingly, and we're looking into this. Last night probably put it more on our our radar to do this and all. But we will be dealing with this because they have rights, but you guys all have rights too. So we want to make sure we keep as many people happy as possible. But we are going to be looking into it very seriously.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Eckers, I'm at 927. I'm new to the park from last year in July. I love it here, it's been great. But I wanted to hear a little bit more about the solar field and how it's going to benefit us as homeowners.
Okay, well, the solar field is, as you know, our electric here, we're at a commercial rate. There aren't individual meters anywhere. So half of our park comes in and the electric comes in one place, half comes in another. Half the park will be fed by this solar field. The solar field will take up 5 of the 28 acres that we purchased in the new land up front. So when the solar field is up and running, that electric all goes back to Edison. So, but in order for it to go back to Edison, it has to go in our wires that feed us. So therefore, we're gonna, instead of being at the end of their line, we're gonna be at the front of their line for getting electric when the solar field's up and running. And we're gonna get $30,000 to $50,000 a year reduced on our electric bill.
On our cost.
Yes.
It's supplemental, it's not the main line coming in, it's only supplemental. So all of this talk on Facebook saying that once we get this, we're not gonna lose electricity, that's not true.
No.
This year, I think, Brian, what do we have? 1 or 2 of our own lines break, that's all we've had this year?
yeah.
Everything that's gone out has been ComEd. Better knock on wood somewhere.
Yeah, no kidding.
But everything has been ComEd outside the park. We have no control. It's just
Zero.
like when you're at home. When ComEd goes out at home, you don't call up your president and say, hey, what are you doing? Or the town president or whatever, or the governor and say, hey, we ain't got no electricity. What are we gonna do? We have no control. If we're out of electricity, you're out of electricity. We cannot do anything.
And keep in mind, like every time the power goes out, I get 25, 30 voicemails in my desk phone.
In the first 20 minutes.
Hey, the power's out, the power's out. Well, A, phones run on electric. Keep that in mind. And 2, again, like, it's out. So we have real quick ways of knowing, is it us or not? And the biggest and easiest way is, if the guardhouse has power, it's very likely it's internal, because the guardhouse is fed from a different feed. So when it's outside the park, the guardhouse does not have power. So that's the first thing we do when we find out power's out. We call the guardhouse, and then we know, okay, we got to get our guys out looking for the issue, or this is outside the park. We just have to wait on ComEd. And then usually you can jump on Facebook and you go to the talk of the town senator or whatever, and people are, and that's when you know that it's not us, it's ComEd. And then some of the problem is when ComEd turns the power back on, that's when it stretches our lines and we have internal problems.
So if we do lose electricity, the best thing to do is go to your thermostat, shut that thermostat off.
Absolutely.
First of all, you're gonna get a jolt, you could jolt your
Surge.
condenser with a surge, and it also jolts our electric, so it's best to shut that down when the electric comes back on. You got one light on or something, you'll know it's on.
Yeah.
And most everybody has a radio playing at every thing, so you know when the electric comes back
The
on.
microwave will beep something. That's a really good point, because as soon as that power comes on, and there's 600 air conditioners and 1,500 refrigerators waiting to fire, and they get that power, that's an instant surge, and that's usually what's causing our problems internal, is that instant absorption of everything trying to kick on at one time. So be a little conscious, try to, the power's out. You know, if I'm at my place, I kill the breaker in my air conditioner and my fridge, and I just wait for the microwave to go beep, and then I know I got power again.
How'd that go?
And then the other thing
My
too,
power's out.
I was gonna mention earlier,
Right.
if you haven't, change your bulbs to LED.
Good
Absolutely.
morning, everyone present. My name is Onésimo Walters. As everyone knows me as Walt, a wonderful Walt around here. I've been at Lot 1324 for probably almost going to close to 4 decades now, 30-something years. And I've seen, since the developer came in here and handed it over to an HOA that pretty much almost bankrupted us, to having Vince Pizzetti spend multiple years digging us out of a big hole. I know for a fact that there's a lot of improvements and a lot of repairs that go on in this park. I have no problem personally, and probably most of the people I represent, as the board knows, that I help out when it comes during election time in regards to paying for those improvements. I do ask is that the board make it public that these projects or repairs, if it's not done internally, be done with a bidding process that's made readily available to the members of Woodsmoke. So there's no questions, no secrecy going on as people might think of, that the board might have, or so forth. And therefore, as I said once, you don't have to deal with anarchy among the membership of the place. But I also do know for a fact that a lot of times, a lot of the problems, as to some of them that were brought up, like the noise and so forth, many large municipalities and small municipalities actually have a decibel rule as to in regards to distance and how loud it can be heard. I know that the pavilion is used as an income source. Maybe the cost should be brought up even further as to the rental, but also the restriction as to how loud the decibel music is happening at that location during its use. And that there should be a fine should that somebody come by with a decibel machine and find out that it exceeds it, and after the second request, they get fined, or the deposit is not refunded because of that violation. Third, something else I also wanted, somebody brought up here on the board in regards to speeding. I'm tired of shouting now to slow down. And sadly to say is, I don't want to embarrass anyone here present, but a lot of times it's even, I hate to say this, guys, maintenance or board members that have flown past me, and if I had a speed gun, I could probably make a fortune off of a lot of people. I will tell you this, if you guys are really hungry making money, and I don't have a problem leaving a check, which I already left a large check at your office just a few minutes ago for my account, I would say maybe put up some speed, hire a company. They do it for a low minimum cost, not incurred by the board here or by us in turn, so that they could collect fees for those who are speeding around our park, thinking that they're going to win the Polish lottery or whatever lottery that might be out there. You know, I think that that's a possibility that this board should think of, and a lot of associations, as well as a lot of small municipalities, have gone out and sourced out these individuals, because it may not be a source of money for us, but it kills two birds with one stone. And last but not least, my personal feeling is, I've seen in the last week or so a great improvement in regards to the roaming of the security. In fact, a lot of the people present, including those on the board, have seen me waving, saying hi, and, you know, talking to them. But, and anything that occurs in the park, whether it's self-inflicted or inflicted by another individual, is still a crime, okay? Whether it's big or small or whatever, any damage, until it's, I guess, proven, is still a crime. And I think that we may have no fatalities or major catastrophes in the park, but whatever incident it is a crime. And I think that among the membership as well, who should take responsibility, as well as the board, we should all be involved in regards to whatever we see, and not use the, I hate to say this, I did this on the website, use the Sergeant Schultz routine. I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing. Because I think that that's a bunch of bullshit, with all due respects. We all have a responsibility. We can do it anonymously to the board. We may be heard, we may not be heard. We may be said, it may not be said. But their responsibilities, we elected them to hear our problems, our sayings. We can also unelect them by the Illinois State HOA laws for lack of responsibility or lack of insight. So I think that all of us are involved. I think all of us have a responsibility. And I may be an old fart in this park, but I've seen it all, I've heard it all, and I know it all. And I'll tell you something. They work hard. I won't grant that. They do work hard. It may not sometimes be what we look for, but at least they work hard. And that's all I can say in regards to...
On your response there, Walt?
Pardon me?
On your response, we are board members, okay? We are not the police. Everybody thinks that we are the police, that we can investigate it, we can do this, we can do that. All we can do is abide by our rules and our regulations. We are not allowed to investigate, we are not allowed to communicate to these people. If you have a problem and it's an emergency, 911 is your first call. Call the sheriffs, they will be out here. We know that you call the sheriffs, we will be there too. But we're limited to what we can do too. We're not police officers.
Correct.
There is not a person on here that could go in and investigate anything, and if it's on your private property, that is a police matter, that is not the board's matter. We do make reports, we do show up, Jerry, myself, Terry,
All of us.
Brian, we all go to these things, but we're limited to what we can do too, even though it bothers us, but we're limited. So just give us a little leeway on that stuff where we're not paying attention. I mean, I know three guys that were out here on 4th of July weekend from 12 o'clock until I talked to him at 8 o'clock in the morning. I talked to him at 7 o'clock in the morning. I didn't talk to Jerry, but they were out from midnight until 8 in the morning chasing them so-called kids that were causing a problem. And you got to remember, this is a big place. We have lights on our cars that we have to have on. And everybody was a kid here, and when you see headlights coming in the middle of the dark and you're doing something wrong, where are you going? You're going hiding. We can't go each individual lot with a flashlight out of 1,485 sites and see if we can find these kids. Yes, it bothers us tremendously. That's why these guys spent 8 hours on this with the sheriffs here, and that afternoon the sheriffs were back again. If something happens, 911 is your first call. We are limited to what we can do.
Well, that might be your correct answer to to the board and so forth, but I feel that a lot of times, maybe some situations can be preventively avoided if certain steps are taken. That's how I feel.
You're right.
And
A lot of
And I will say this. I did give you guys a certain extent of compliment just now, but like I said, I feel that possibly as our board representing us, the questions we might bring up may not have the right answers, or not the answers that we're looking for. But it's so common in these days, times of days. Let's pass the buck to somebody else. And we're not here. We're a community. We should work together and try to accomplish and solve the problems. Whether it is something legally that we need to call the sheriff that takes 5 hours to show up, or the Seneca police that's over at Dunkin' Donuts in Marseilles or whatever, getting their donuts, whatever the case may be. But we need to have the understanding that it's not somebody else's fault. That's all I.
You're 100% right. It's our fault. These are our children, these are
Thank you very
our
much.
visitors.
Our guest.
These are, it's us, not them. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing real quick. You call 911. Your second call, please call the guardhouse.
Yeah.
Because then we can get up there
Yeah.
and bring them in, okay? The ambulance, Seneca ambulance, can get to your lot. They have GPS. I'm working with LaSalle County. They move a little bit slower than Seneca. To get those GPS coordinates over to them. I've been working with them for 6-7 months now. It's a slow process. So when the sheriffs show up, we gotta try to have somebody at that gate to bring them to your lot. They don't have the capabilities to drive directly there like the ambulance does. So it's important. You dial 911, then please be sure to call the normal 6420 number, and you push 2. That'll get you right to the security. If you don't know that, or you want a reminder, stop in the office. We've got little fridge magnets that has all that information on them. Grab them on your way out today.
Would it be just wise to add as a step that if somebody calls 911, have them go to the front gate and meet the officer to bring them back to their lot?
So if you're-
save yourself all that aggravation.
If your wife's on the ground, she had a heart attack, you can
Okay,
take her
no,
over to
no,
the
we're
guardhouse.
talking about the sheriff's department or something, you know?
So,
not-
yeah.
All right, move on. Gentleman in the green.
Ken Chun, lot 199. I heard you this morning saying you were trying to follow the rules of the condominium association. I believe you're supposed to post the minutes of the previous board meeting up in the office.
They are.
July 7th, 2022 is the last one posted in the office.
No, they're all posted.
They're not.
We just posted them. We made sure this week that they're all up there. So unless you've been up there, they're all posted. We made sure they were all up there. We don't post them until after they're voted on.
It's 2 back numbers. We just voted 2 back.
What did you vote on this morning?
August 13th.
No.
August 13th?
No, we do it June 25th.
June 25th.
So June 25th will be put up there next week. During the week, June 25th will be added to
You
it.
can't post them till we vote on them.
I'll meet you in the office over there. 'Cause when you pulled out that equipment this morning, that's when I checked the board. The minutes, or I won't say the minutes, but what you're talking about today was posted. July 7th, meeting, 22 is up there. That's the last one that's been posted. On hold. The next question I have is, the noise last night was unbelievable. I understand you're trying to make money for the farm, but you let one family piss off 1,400 other families. One family. Is that right?
Well, I don't know if you were listening, but we talked about
We
it.
already addressed that.
No, you didn't.
I don't know, did I talk about that or didn't I?
Sometimes you're gonna look into it.
You may not have liked what I said, but I did talk about it and said we're looking into that. You know, when somebody rents the pavilion, this is what they've always had use of. Nobody's taking advantage of it as bad as they did last night. So we realized we need new rules for that, so that doesn't happen. All right?
That will be going to the Rules and Regulation Committee, which I'm chair of, and we will definitely be looking at, I was here last night.
It's never been an issue.
Wonderful, isn't it?
Yes.
until
It's an
last
issue.
night. Hang on one second. There, I don't know, if this guy had a question, but he's behind us, I just
Oh.
want to be sure.
Yeah, sorry. Say yes, loud over 1177.
Hey guys, can we be quiet, please? It's hard to hear. If you need to talk, there's the door, please use it.
Say yes, loud over 1177. I do agree that us as owners should incur some costs, but I think like Walter said, some transparency. I kind of want to turn Chicago where just increasing the amount of money that we pay overall. So I do agree with kind of like letting the owners know. I do agree with the 3-bid process. So I think everything that gets bid out, I don't know if you guys go with one quote. I know there's not enough contractors nowadays. So it's hard. But I think for us, instead of, I know without being on music, it's an issue. But I think safety is number one. I mean, I keep hearing, you know, they break into lots, they steal stuff, they stole my father-in-law's, he's at 1178. All his lights, I mean, yeah, it's an issue, the noise is an issue. But if they're going around and breaking into our trailers, and I think that's the number one issue. And as far as like putting people from outside to watch the lights, I think we can do it internally. And, you know, when you guys do find an issue internally, what's the, you know, what happens to the owner? Do they get fined, they get kicked out, their fees get increased? Unfortunately, the only way to control people is their money.
Right. When something like that happened, that happened to you, that's the night we were out real late looking for those people.
That was before. Before.
No, yeah, but when they were going around taking the decorative lights and everything, all right? That goes to, when we find out who it is, then we charge them. And then, once they're charged, and they pay the fine, what the charge is between us and our attorney, then we give a report on it. Until we settle it, we can't report on it, because it's still an investigation going on. But as soon as it is settled, because we know that will be settled, then we can report on it. So that's how the rules work here.
Yeah, as far as the decibels, it's really easy to fix. Put a decibel monitor there, and when it sees it, cut the power off. That's it. I mean, some inspectors shouldn't take that long, but I'm an electrical engineer, so from electrical, anything has to do with electrical robots, I can help with that. So instead of, speed suit, there's different ways. You don't need to get other companies involved. They're taking their money. That's comment. The infrastructure, who's going to cover that? The repairs when it hails and it breaks the panels.
It's all covered by the solar company. It's all in the contract. We don't touch them. They cover everything 100% for 25 years, then they remove them and bring the ground back to regular earth.
That will be fenced in. That'll be fenced in. We will not be allowed in that property.
Yeah.
So they're legally just renting the space from us for the amount of electricity that we can do. So we're not allowed to touch any of that,
And
okay?
the rebate's going to go back to the apartments.
Pardon me?
Whatever money you guys can credit back to the power, then go back to the apartment, assuming, or?
Yes.
Yeah, to lower our energy cost.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd like to address the security guy.
Who are you?
Ted Pincotty, 1393, been here well over 30 years. I'm the second generation in the park. I've seen a lot of stuff here. And honestly, I'm really emotional right now because I seen the park look like it was 1970s. Wouldn't want to be here. They've done a great job building this park up to what it is. But with that said, what happened last night, music being so loud, they didn't do their job. They had an opportunity to do their job for the 1,499 other residents here, and they didn't do it. And you had that opportunity. And for you to say that there's zero crime in the park, well, we're investigating felony charges. So don't say there's no crime in the park.
Yeah, we got funny, but we did address that music last night, as it turned out. But we're only allowed to do so much legally. We did go up there. It is loaded on our log sheets. Board members was with me. We went there. There's things we can do and there's things we cannot do. It's just like when you're a camper, you're going until 12 o'clock. You're not even supposed to have your music loud enough to hear the next neighbor, but rental, common areas, there's events going on. And there's, there's nothing we can do right now, but we're going to work on changing our ways we do things up there. We discussed it after last night, so don't say we didn't do our job, because we were there. We did our job. We do our job.
It's a matter.
Okay, next.
Please.
Moment.
Lot number, please.
776.
Sorry.
I have a suggestion.
Who are you, sir?
regarding the noise.
He just said.
You guys said you'll look into it. Let me just suggest maybe the board today takes an action item to review that, the possibilities of what we can do about the noise for that PA2 and those surrounding bottom. And then report that back at the next meeting. And offer opportunity for residents to provide inputs, as to what their ideas are. So if I could get a commitment out of the board to take that action item.
You have my commitment, okay? You could send me an email on your suggestions. That's jimr@woodsmokeranch.com.
Contract they sign to rent, does it state decimal level? And if it doesn't, I'm not expecting a response, I know you're gonna look into it, I get that. In regards to that, my recommendation to the board that I'm asking that you take to your attorneys, because that is part of your job, is to ask that it be added.
Oh,
I would solve.
Like you said, we're working, that last night
I'm
you just bring up
not
a whole
doubting
new
your
issue
working.
for us.
I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I understand almost everybody here did. But with that being said,
This
I'm
is
not gonna
things-
email you, I'm having this conversation
Yeah.
face to face, that's why I came.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
and it's good, and we appreciate it.
Horse is dead.
And this is why we're going, it wasn't a major thing before. Last night has changed
understand.
everything, so we are going to look into that very much.
The timing is good because we're in the process of reviewing all of our contracts, because as we move
Yeah.
into this portal, they're all gonna be electronic signatures and rentals and
So other than the board meeting, homeowners allowed to sit in on those conversations?
What conversations?
Where you're reviewing these
No,
policies and,
no,
Well,
those are board
I got a
decisions.
yes and a no.
what we did, I have a committee together that I asked for people to volunteer,
When was that?
about a year ago.
Been a year or so.
About a year.
A year ago.
Okay, I'm sorry. About a year ago, I did put together a committee, and we're in the middle of finalizing this, so to bring in more people, the best thing to do is email me.
No,
Would-
I'm here, face to face.
I understand. I understand, but, okay. But, okay, so that, what you just asked for is already in the thinking bank here, and we're trying to work on it. Last night I was with Jerry, and I told Jerry, this is gonna change from here on. And we started it last night.
I understand your hands are tied, you're not in the municipality, I get that.
Yeah, well, even a municipality, they have to go through protocol to, and put a law in and put in policies.
The municipality also has a police department, so that solves that.
Well, yeah, but their laws are already in effect to where, and then if they need to change a law, they change a law to make it so it doesn't happen again. That's why there's rules. So
That's why I asked, is it
You-
in the contract currently?
we will have it in the contract, yes.
Chris?
Chris Braxton, Team 97. One thing, the next Saturday you're doing the horses. Nobody mentioned, are they still doing the teach outdoors and the archery?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes.
so that's still out there.
moving targets, the horses.
Okay.
Hey, you can't say that.
Two, under old business, have there still been anything, I know the board, last time I checked, the association at the board owns 7 or 8 lots, and they've owned them for multiple years. So they're actually costing us money because we're not bringing any revenue from the dues. Last time I looked on the real estate page, they're not out there for sale. So they're still sitting there technically costing us money
Right.
because we're not doing anything. Are you moving forward with the attorney to try to get those sold and get them off the books?
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
The two that have been there the longest are hard ones. We're working on them.
Yeah, but I know, I looked
Yeah.
back in the records, and you guys took over them in 17 or 18. So they've been on the books for
Yeah.
quite some time. And then the third thing is, you guys have been doing a really good job about bringing us into the Illinois Condo Act. And I noticed there's 2 meetings kind of for the budget meeting.
one in October, one in November. Which one are you guys gonna be mailing, because you guys are required to,
We present the budget in October,
okay?
and we vote on it in November.
When will I be expecting the mailing, because you're required to do that, mail all the association members or email the actual proposed budget that you're gonna be voting on in November? You guys have to. See, I've been here since 16.
Yeah.
And I've never once been given that in advance. I've been handed it at the meeting.
No,
That's
that's not true. You get it in the
That's after.
winter book.
That's after you guys voted on it. After it's approved. That's after it's approved. We have to have it as lot owners before you guys approve it. That's the law.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that since I've been here. So I'm hoping that, because you guys are doing
We'll-
such a good job.
We'll have
bringing us into
to,
that.
we'll have to look up and see how soon before that we.
No less than 10, no longer than 30.
All right, so we'll make sure that when it's 30 days, we mail it
So
out.
what I'm saying, is it gonna be for the October or the actual voting on in November?
It'll be between.
Okay, that's what I'm
You should
saying.
get it, you should get it sometime in October.
That's what I wanna know when they expect it, so if I don't see it, I can contact somebody.
Don't stand by the stale mail mailbox and wait for it.
I'm on the email system, so
You got it.
I should be, email is fine, because that saves everybody money. I hope everybody gets on that email system, because it'll save the association the mailing costs, the envelopes, and even the paper for printing. That, so, okay, thank you guys.
But I just want to say something. You've been standing there behind this post. No, the post in front of you, I couldn't see that your hand was up.
I've been trying to
I'm
see this
sorry.
lady standing and he called on Chris. I was like, oh,
Until you started swaying, I didn't know your hand was up. I apologize. Go ahead.
No worries. Lot 1130, my name is Sherry Benna, J-E-N-N-A. Going back to the July issue with the vandalism that took place, my question is, what's the timeline from when you were made aware of it to the time the sheriff's office was called?
It was approximately 11:45, 12 o'clock till 12 o'clock the next afternoon we dealt with
That's
it.
when the sheriff was called?
No,
Sheriffs
sheriffs
were
were,
brought in, and that was a while ago, but I'm gonna say
Oh.
7-ish in the morning.
it was like 5:36 we called them, but they were busy. So.
Yeah, they were, because it wasn't
Priority.
people over, if you look at the size of LaSalle County and you look at how many cops
Yeah,
there are,
no,
it's,
I get it, but we're all taxpayers, so I think somehow, some way it needs to get to the sheriff's office that we are a priority.
that would be you going to the LaSalle County meeting.
Good luck.
But regardless, we all pay taxes, so we should all have a voice in some way, shape, or form to maybe have the sheriff's department available at a board meeting, so we can discuss our issues. Because if people this gentleman had stuff taken, people had things done, there's quite a few people, older individuals that live here and want to feel safe. And if we can't get the resources that we pay for, we all pay for them in taxes, that's a problem. So if we could maybe get somebody from the sheriff's office to come to one of these board meetings.
A lot of times, in that case too, you gotta realize that we realized what was going on and in our search around, that we had people on cameras. Now we had to get the cameras, run them back, find it all.
Everybody has that, so
But
that's-
so, yeah, it's a lot different with our setup than with your home setup here. And when we did all this, realizing we were up all night doing all this, when we found footage of it and everything, that's when we called the sheriff's police. Because then we had something to show them. Before that, all we had was them coming out for a
Brian,
report.
I want to say something. We caught these guys. It took us all night to do it, and because all the taxpayers, there was a guest and other kids that committed this stuff. So we need to talk to the lot owners to control their guests. They were all teenagers, every single one of them. We spent all night. Me, this guy, this whole board is volunteers. We work 50 to 60 hours. If we're the people to bash the security, and yes, you are bashing the board.
Jerry,
I'm telling you. But we listen.
What the timeline was between.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's
Do not put words in my mouth.
I'm telling you,
Do not put
between.
words in my
I'm
mouth.
answering your
I'm
question.
not the one who put
I'm answering your question from 12 o'clock to 12 the
I
next
asked the
day.
question what the timeline was because of the fact that if you guys are spending 8 to 10 hours looking for individuals, you're wasting your time. Call the sheriff's office. Tell them that it's an emergency. Then have somebody.
It's not, they're gonna tell us it's not an emergency.
Well, then,
Broken solar lights are not
again,
an emergency.
reason to go to the sheriff's office. Somebody from the sheriff's
So,
office.
so,
Take a report.
so when the sheriffs are here, I've talked to many sheriffs here over the last 3 years. LaSalle County runs approximately 4 to 6 sheriffs for the whole LaSalle County, which goes all the way up to DeKalb, all the way down.
It's the largest county in the state.
And
land-wise.
4 to 6, I said, wow, I really did. So if a guy leaves here, he might end up in DeKalb trying to get across LaSalle County. It's ludicrous on how they protect their,
And I completely understand that. I have the utmost respect for law enforcement.
oh, I do too.
And they do their job. That's why
But when your hands are
what
tied-
the timeline was, I'm not blaming anybody, sir. And I just wanted some answers. So I appreciate
Yeah.
your response,
Yeah.
and I don't appreciate words being put into my mouth.
Thank you very
So
much.
let's think about that next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yes, in the back.
Lori Logan, lot 376. First, I'd like to say thanks for the disco lights. I really appreciate
Somebody accidentally touched him back here.
Second of all, I would like to thank all of you guys for all of your hard work, all the improvements that are going on and things that happen behind the scenes that nobody really realizes. My husband and I are retired. We travel the parks all over the United States. And I have to say, this is one of the best parks. We have gone to places. We go to parks that we pay $1,000 a week for, and we got shitty service, we got crime everywhere, we got screaming kids, people fighting. This place is awesome, and you guys are really shortchanging these guys. They bust their butts every day, and they deserve the credit, and the rest of us as lot owners.
Thank you.
There's a lady with a little red coat shirt on.
Physical problems that we've had in this park is really not a lot, and I feel sorry for the folks that have had things happen. But they were not very people. These gentlemen went out on their own time. We're trying to do the best that they can do. No one's perfect, right? That's the part we gotta remember. We all work together and give these guys full credit for what they're doing. If you don't like it, go volunteer. Help.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
I just have a couple of comments. Number one,
I can't,
okay, Ellen Cross, lot 130.
Thank you.
Nobody put any words in your mouth, sir. You talk about speeding in this park. I saw you take off out of this park in a car with a dog in the back seat about a year and a half ago, like the devil himself was after you. So don't talk about speeding in this park unless you abide by the rule yourself. Number two, the board, you all have the right to adopt policy. This doesn't mean that it needs to be voted on. You can sit there as a board, and if you're gonna rent out that pavilion, you can adopt policy, so whoever runs that, you hand them a piece of paper and say, you're gonna play from this time to that time, we are not gonna have loud music. You make them sign that contract before they even rent it. And I mean, that's what you can do. You have the right to do that without asking everybody here for a vote. Let's see, where else can I go? As of now, I know nobody has been charged for that embezzlement that we all heard about in January. And I understand that. You know,
Okay, I can answer you on that, okay?
Pardon me?
I can answer you on that.
Okay.
You guys have been complaining about LaSalle County sheriffs? LaSalle County State's Attorney works just as fast,
Yeah. Well, I
okay?
understand.
We have no control over how LaSalle County is handling the case. It's been turned over to the state's attorney. We are waiting diligently for some answers.
Actually, it was turned over to a state's attorney, and then that state's attorney is no longer with
Yeah,
LaSalle
I'm
County.
not blaming you, I'm just letting everybody know that nobody's been charged for that yet, so, you know, maybe somebody ought to kick them in the butt.
Oh, believe me, if I could, I would.
I follow up via email quite often with the new state's attorney that's going to sign the case. And they're wrapping up, I believe he said it was a triple homicide, and then he's gonna be looking at this case next.
Okay.
So, that's the last thing you know.
You have been designated park manager.
Yes,
Do you collect a salary for that?
yes,
You cannot sit on this board.
yes, I can.
How?
Yes.
How is that possible? Answer my question. As far as the covenants go, condominium rules, that's no jeopardy. You can't sit on this board.
You can do it, and you can bring it up at a board meeting, and the lot owners have so much time to dispute it. And
We
then,
weren't given any time.
well, you were when we brought it up at the board meeting.
Notice.
We followed our attorney's advice on it, and we did it just like he said to do it. So I'm sorry, we followed the rules on it.
You pushed that through so fast that I think everybody's had one feeling, especially with $50.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Oh, you did.
All
We've
right,
been talking 2 years about everything.
yeah.
So another question I have is, did everybody get the same assessment for this?
No,
No. And how did you come,
it's done just like your dues are done. It's done by the percentage of your lot. So there's 6 categories. So
Guys, can we please?
anything that we charge out to lot owners has to be done by the categories. Your dues are done by the categories. Special assessments are done by the categories. So everybody in category 1 pays one price, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they all pay the price of the percentage of the lot they own.
I understand that. How, and my question is, how you come to that figure? How do you come up with a figure for what she pays, he pays?
Well, it's a percentage. You gotta multiply it out.
Really?
Percentage of what?
I'm not.
Seriously, this has been brought up for, I've been on the board 3 years. I came to meetings for the last 12 years. This is brought up just about every meeting. If you could figure it out, please come to us and tell us. We don't know how this was figured out on the percentages. We don't know. It would be very nice to know how this developer came up with the different categories, why he came up with the different categories. We don't know. I'm a category 5. Across the street, I have 2 category 6s in the middle of the cul-de-sac, which makes absolutely no sense. But they did it. We have to live by it, unfortunately.
And it can't be changed.
Hold on, please.
What I can't get through my head is, how do you come, I understand there's different categories, but how do you come up with the percentage of it?
If you look at the
Website.
The whole pie.
little yellow book, I can draw a blank to the name, but right in the first couple pages, the covenants, it explains to you the categories and the percentage of ownership that each category has to make the park a whole.
It's also in your filing. It's
It's in LaSalle County.
It's also on our website.
The
Thank you,
documents,
Chris.
yes.
Yeah. If
You
go on
list
our
every
website,
single lot
click
number
on
and your
the
percentage.
documents
Every single one.
on our website, Chris. The tab, you put on there, it tells you the percentage of that.
Isn't it on your contract when you buy your lot, what category you're in, so if you didn't read it?
I would, all I can say is I can assume so, I bought my lot.
It's on your deed.
I knew what I would buy.
And it's on your deed, too.
Excuse me, Walter, that's what Walter.
Maybe she's not done. She may not be done.
I agree with a lot of things you said, sir. So my other question is, $300,000 for a pool, for the repair of both pools, I guess. How did you come up with that figure?
We went out for pricing, and that's the price we accepted. The contract.
Okay. And
In
what
fact,
bank-
wasn't it, maybe it was your daughter that asked for the contract.
Well, yes, and that should be made public to everyone, that, what bank was that, borrowed from?
What bank did we borrow from?
Peoples of Kewanee Bank in Seneca Bank.
And what?
That's the bank that we do our banking at.
Okay, and what was the percentage of it?
I don't know offhand, ma'am. I don't keep those prices in my head.
So my other question is, and so Woodsmoke branch was used as collateral, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna get $300,000 just under the books. Second of all, since the contract was breached by the company who did the work,
And contractors.
And contract. So if I were to go in the office and write, I would like to get an itemized statement of every penny that $300,000 was spent, and I would be able to get that.
It hasn't all been put together yet because we've got to file papers against the contractor. So we're putting everything together for our attorney to file those papers.
This is a legal situation.
Okay, but I would be able to get a copy of the bid that you accepted for $300,000?
Yes, sure.
Okay, well, that's what I would like to see, because if you're gonna spend money and somebody's gonna spend my money, we all have a vested interest in.
We do too.
Yeah, we all should know that, to see where our money's going, and unless I'm spending my money, I don't know. Also, there was a sheriff's car that came in here on Tuesday. My husband and I were going into town, and Sal County Sheriff came in on Tuesday. Maybe it was Wednesday. Tuesday, the office closed. Anyway, he was here, that was about 11:30, quarter to 12. He was here until we came back, which was about 1 o'clock. Any insight as to why he was here?
They don't let us know every time we were in. Where was he?
He was parked up by the office.
Oh,
He
all
was-
right.
He was
Well, I
in a
didn't
meeting
know.
with me about an issue that he was following back up on.
Okay, I just wanted.
LaSalle
Yeah.
County, because they are thin, they operate a little differently. Their police officers actually are informal investigators. They investigate up to the point they kind of exhaust their own resources, which requires them sometimes to come back several times for things or to get records or information. And he had come back to meet with me.
No, I just wonder if it has something to do with vandalism or that.
No, he was going back to something that had happened a while back, and he was just getting more information. He was trying to either figure out if he could close this out because it wasn't that big of a deal, or if he needed to take it to another level.
Okay,
So-
and one last question I have, and this is gonna go back to, in the minutes of December 4th of 2022, and I've asked you this once before, it was approved, it says Brian Kennedy talked about his strategic plan for more info and what lot owners want and needs, a $700 commitment. Jerry makes a motion and somebody else seconds it, the motion was passed. What was that $700 needed?
That was for, we contracted with a company called Survey Monkey, and we conducted a survey that we put out to everybody.
I think that was answered before. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff, from asking, your age, so we can kind of see the demographics of the park, to questions about where what you wanted to see in the park, amenities, where did you think the park needs improvement and all that. That's helping us as we start to plan the budget, that's what that's for. And we're talking about, it's gonna help us develop more of a comprehensive plan for the park, to look at where we're gonna be spending money in the next 5 years, 10 years. That was the reason for that survey, is to get the feedback.
A little more transparency in something like this, to bring it out a little bit more.
It was completely explained at that board meeting.
Well,
To
December
almost,
4th, there's not too many people here on December 4th.
wow.
It seems like all the important things are done in November, December, January, when there's not a lot of people coming.
We've only had one meeting in December and
October, November's the
January
budget meeting.
in the
Yeah,
11
most
years
important.
I've been on the board, so I don't know how you
Thank
can
you.
say that.
Thank you. Wonderful, Walt. What are we doing, bud?
Okay, number one, I wanted to answer the question about the sheriff because I wanted to verify something. Because I had a personal incident many years back, I'm gonna say a couple of decades back, when a lot of trailers got broken into. This was explained to me exactly, and I went into Seneca. When a sheriff is not available, when they're called out, their fallback is to have Seneca come out to the location that the call is being done, they initiate an investigation, and then when the sheriff shows up, they pass that information along to the LaSalle County Sheriff. If the Seneca Police Department is at Dunkin' Donuts and Morris, I'm just joking, they call Marseilles and ask them to come over to us to actually start that investigation until Seneca shows up at the Dunkin' Donuts and then hands it over to the LaSalle County. That's what the way I was explained for part one.
That only
You know what?
happens.
You have to excuse me. I take that Dunkin' Donuts bullshit. No, see, it's funny.
All right,
Okay.
this is not for,
Okay. Let the man talk, please.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. You stated we had a 25-year contract for solar panels, correct?
Yes.
With a dead end, so in other words, they take all their equipment back.
No, it's up to us then if we want to
Purchase it.
run it longer or end it.
Okay, I'm going to ask Mr. Diaz to also step in my comment for expertise. My understanding is that after 6 to 10 years, solar panels become to degrade to the point that after 20 years, they pretty much are useless. Okay, in regards
You know
to
what? None of us are specials on that, Walt. We're not gonna go into that.
Okay.
It's a 25-year contract. They've got to keep them working. If they break down, they got to replace them. It's 25 years.
They make their money. They make their money off of our solar.
Are we guaranteed at the rate that we're over
Yes.
reimbursement?
Yes.
Okay, because, am I correct?
Yeah, that's my answer. My only suggestion is there's a lot of subject matter experts here on different fields. I think I have no problem reading quotes from the electrical example. But yes, there's a lot of hidden calls that don't tell you up front, so I would offer myself, I can be a help to you guys. I got 25 years experience in the electrical field, so.
With that, that contract was sent to our attorney. Our attorney looked over the contract and he approved it along with us. It's already signed, sealed, and delivered. We're just waiting for the material to show.
Okay.
And I got to bring up something about Seneca and Marseilles. They will only come out if it's a life-threatening event. Then they'll come out to back up the LaSalle County, and they will come in first, but they will just make sure everybody stays safe until the county gets here. But if it's not a life-threatening event, they will not come out.
Well, I talked to Sam over at the Seneca Police Department.
I don't care who you talk to, Walt.
He's the captain. Okay, but anyways, the third part of the comment was, how did we come up, and you're still trying to figure out, as you said, you had questions among yourself as the board, how they came up with these different categories. I bought from Gassino, and he basically told me the category was set up based on the percentage of ownership of the value of that lot at the time it was initially sold. That's how he explained it to me in one simple sentence.
Okay.
Just to let you guys know.
But they all came up at the same time, so that's impossible.
When they sold, when they initially came to the, when they brought the deeds, when he sold them and brought the deeds to LaSalle County.
All of them.
No, he didn't bring them all at the same time. They were all brought in sections. They were sold.
To come up with 100%, that amount has to be on that lot from the beginning. Otherwise, you can't add them all up and come up with 100%.
That was subject to change according to our covenants and declaration.
Okay.
It was subject to change for so many years until everything was done. So that's what our declaration said.
All right, yeah, all right. Nothing can be done about it now
No,
anyhow,
it's
so
over.
why we even talk about it?
They're waiting for a long time.
You, sir.
No, Jerry, that lady's been waiting a long time.
I'm on 774, I've been here about 24 years. In 24 years, this is the second board meeting I come to. Reason being is the first one I went to, I was highly insulted by your previous president. When I asked the question that this lady asked about the percentage, how we pay, the only way that would ever change is if every lot owner voted to amend what we're currently paying. So that
Correct.
would mean a category 1 would vote that I want to pay the average of everyone else. So, and his rates would go up. I'm in category 6. I knew it when I bought my property. I have no problems with that. I'm tired of getting screwed every time there's another assessment. Because before, so the reason why I don't come to these very often is because your previous president, God rest his soul, told me in front of the whole room that if I pursued this, he would personally sue me. And I posted this on the Woodsmoke rumor mill page many times, that's how I was treated at a board meeting. So for me to come here, it took a lot for me to come here because
kind of getting sick and tired of all the bullshit, pardon my French. All these whiny people that post on Facebook have no clue what they're talking about. And it just winds everybody up. You gotta stop. If you want a question answered, you come to a freaking board.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have some questions. It was brought up a while ago regarding the pools. Big bone of contention, $300,000 bill. One of you board members mentioned, okay, this park has been here close to 40 years, I guess. The lifespan of these pools is 25 years. We got an extra, supposedly 15 years out of it before they basically had to be torn apart and redone. Okay? It looks like the previous board did absolutely nothing to plan for that. Instead, let's just assess the hell out of everybody to pay for this. Okay? Where was the reserve for the pool? You had none. And I guarantee, excuse me, I guarantee there's other infrastructure things here in this park right now that are well beyond their usable life that none of us are made aware of. Where is that money going to come from? Because I'll tell you what, I did vote to purchase that farmland over there. But if I had known that I'm going to get hit with a huge assessment for a pool, I never would have voted for it. And I guarantee you, there's a lot of other people in here that feel the same way. We got taken advantage of. Because you guys knew, and you fucking know. And within the next few years, I'm going to get a letter in the mail. Hello, Mr. Kamazak, you're category 6. Bend over, write us a check. Because that's how I feel.
All right,
And I'm tired of it.
all right, can I just answer one thing?
Years, and every year it gets worse and worse. Another question. We've got this property over here that we pay, whatever we pay for it. No one's ever asked, there's a structure going up over there. Is that on our property?
No.
Because I wanted to know, is that our property? Who the hell approved it? But you answered my question. It's not our property.
There's 3 parcels over there.
Okay.
One's ours. The owner that sold it, his brothers both bought the other 2 parcels.
Thank you. Because I drive by that thing and I see a big barn over there. So that's not our property.
I would like to make something clear to you, though. When you voted for the land acquisition, you haven't paid a penny for that land acquisition. That land acquisition, we took out a loan.
Okay.
And then when the money comes back for the electric from the solar field, that will pay off that loan. That was all done so that that land wouldn't cost anybody anything. The solar field would end up paying for it. So nobody's dues went up because of buying that land.
Okay.
All right? I just want to make that clear.
But answer me this question. What else in this park is set to fail in the next couple of years?
Oh, there's a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get a list of this? So we know what to expect. And is there any money, excuse me, I'm talking. Is there any money put aside for this? Instead of me getting another letter in the mail that I'm being assessed X amount of dollars. Hello?
Yeah, I totally understand that. And that's what like I said, in the last 2 years, everything has turned around. And that's what things that we're trying to put together now. To get a 5-year program going so that we can see what things are going to be costing. We've got to get pricing. We've got a bridge that's failing. We've got to get pricing on that to see what it's going to cost.
But can we get a list of that in advance of what we're currently working on so we don't come home one day? I mean, I understand there was a letter that went out. I've been up here at Woodsmoke. I was on vacation this week. So I don't know how much money is in for my assessment. I have no clue. So when I go home today, I get to be surprised that I owe $300 or $400. Okay? So I'm just asking, what are you guys looking at?
where's this money gonna come from? Because I'll tell you what, if you open up the Woodsmoke book and you look at the Woodsmoke Facebook page, there's a lot of people moving out of this place because you are pricing them out. They can't afford it anymore. I know our property taxes are minimal, $200-300 a year.
For everybody moving out, they're moving in.
The dues are killing people. And these assessments are killing people.
Those dues are coming
People
low.
here are on fixed income. And where are they gonna come up with another $1,000 a year to live in? They can't.
Okay, thank you.
What I'm asking is,
Yeah.
we would like a list of
Okay, we got
what's gonna fail next year and what's gonna cost and what you're working on, that's all.
All right. We'll have to put something together.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Ray Rodriguez, lot 990. I've been here since 87 with my parent, 85. I would like to form a committee to work with the LaSalle County Department of Health in reference to septic tank replacement. If the board doesn't have a problem with that, I'll do a lot of the legwork, get LaSalle County Public Health involved, because right now, my septic tank, I was refused contract because they said that there was an issue with the water lines. So there's some variance we're gonna need since Woodsmoke doesn't do the septic tank replacements anymore. So
We
if I
can't,
can get the
right.
board's permission to work with the board member, I'll go ahead and meet with them and so forth and try to get that information back as to a template that owners can use. One, that will save owners from pump outs when they replace their septic tanks, which are probably 30, 40 years old, if I'm not mistaken, under the old cement vaults. As well as limit the resources that we're expending on pumping out rainwater every time somebody's tank is filled. So if somebody's willing to spend $7,000 and replace their tank, that with the newer tank, they know that that's going to be just their sewage, not considered any type of rainwater and so forth, which will save everybody some money. So I'm just asking, you don't have to answer it now, I can get a response later. Second thing, just for the general public, believe me, my background is I'm a board member in Chicago. Pearlstein Levestein has been my attorney, which is one of the top rated attorneys in Chicago. So just a show of hands, how many people here have actually read top to bottom, on your break, in the bathroom, the Illinois Cotton Act online? Okay, that is a small percentage. I ask, before the owners start coming after the board members, please read that document. It tells you everything that we're supposed to do. If you live in a condominium or a HOA, they're doing the same thing as an HOA. We're not gonna like it, because when we're in our HOAs at home, there is a reserve study. That is a 25-year outlook as to what all of your equipment is and what will break. It will cost $200,000 to $300,000 for an engineered company to come out and look at all the resources. And then they will give them a booklet that says, your pumps, your equipment, and it's a reserve study. It costs money to get. And granted, we all love this as a campground, but we're operating as an HOA. The board has a big responsibility. So to build reserves up, that's part of the assessment. Special assessment, you have a new pool, which I've had to just put one in a downtown condo, so just imagine how much that costs. That pool is gonna last us for so many years. So take that special assessment, that $300, and break it up over the next 5 years. So it's pennies on the dollar every month when we pay for it. Again, our assessments are great. Understandable, we've been operating 30-something years. We don't have a reserve because you guys weren't being charged that money. Once we start getting charged that money, everybody's gonna complain. But again, read the Condo Act, understand it, know the law that is governing our board, and remember, if you're over here complaining about it, run for the board. Get up there, take those answers, take that responsibility that these guys are volunteering, and all the volunteers that are here at the park. And again, I appreciate the people that are supporting the police, EMS, fire, nurses, doctors, teachers, and everything else. We're all here. We just have to live together, that's it, and enjoy it. And next week, on the 19th, when you hear noises, come on over, I got beer, drinks, and everything else.
All right, last question.
Oh, wait,
We've got-
wait, she's had her arm up?
Yeah.
She got no blood in her fingers right now.
Thank you. My name is
Sherry Crow, I'm 784, this is actually one of the first board meetings I've come to here at Woodsmoke. My observation is that I think we're all thinking the same things. Things that were brought up today, I thought about, I think that's on that. I am curious about, you know, who's going to be charged for that incident that happened in March. I'm glad to hear about, you know, the assessment that was done on the pool. I sat on board myself, it's not easy, and I respect all of you. And you know, when you're up there, you get banged down. It just happens, okay? What I think is this, people don't like surprises. And so the more, and what's the word I'm looking for? Transparent. The more transparent you can be with us, you know, the less arguing or being upset you will hear. If there are things that are going to be coming up in the future that need to be fixed, let us know, you know, and if you have some idea. Honestly, surprises aren't fun. As far as the categories, I'm all for taking a vote and changing, you know, and everybody paying the same. I'm all for that. We can do that, okay? I also like your idea, sir, about, you know, if the decimal points get too high, then shut the power off. Let's put one of those puppies up there. It can't be that expensive. The other thing that I want to just suggest for people, you know, Andy had said about, you know, meetings go on in December, you know, November, December, January. A lot of people aren't here. I live in Wisconsin, not that I want to be up there at that time. But Zoom meetings, board meetings that I sit on, we have Zoom meetings. It costs $145 a year to have Zoom meetings, and anybody can be on it. We have over 1,500 people on that Zoom meeting. So they don't have to physically be here. And again, that prevents, that allows transparency. So that, you know, there's nothing being hidden. But I respect all of you. It's not hard being up at this table. I've been on many boards. And I also respect everybody else giving their opinions, because I think we're all thinking the same thing. So those are just some of my suggestions. I would love to see the categories change, and we're all paying attention well. And I think as members, that is possible. I'd like to see a vote on that if possible.
Okay, so you need to get 20% of the people to sign a petition to bring it to a meeting, to put it on an agenda.
Okay.
Okay, and then you need to go out for vote, and we need 100% of the ownership to vote on it, along with their mortgage companies.
Okay.
So the mortgage company would have to approve that same thing, so there's
a process.
There's a huge process on it, which
You
has
know,
to
it
be done
takes
legally.
is, it only takes one person to say no, and it's done.
Says no, and it doesn't pass.
And I can't see the person paying little want to jump into paying more.
Yeah, we could, yeah, that's not a problem.
We're done.
All right.
We were giving her the floor right there, and then we're gonna close it out.
Yeah.
I just want to say we're all human. Emotions are high. You know, when you touch personal resources for people, or emotions are high. When you touch people's personal resources or attack a person, there's going to be an emotion. You can't respond to emotions. All I ask is that you be respectful. I don't think there's room for screaming and swearing, as well as we need to be respectful. This is our board. This is our community. Can we just be kind? That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good way to end, Terry. It's a good way to end.
All right, he did have his hand up. So.
10-10, lots of 99. Recommendation for the board is that table or put on hold any activities in House Food until you come up with a recommendation as to what they're going to do. This is a recommendation.
All right, we'll take that into consideration.
Once again, you're letting one lot
I realize.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Not right.
Insane.
Thank you.
All
Make a
right,
motion to
thank you.
adjourn.
Motion adjourned. So moved. Thank
I
you all for
second
being
it.
here.
Thank you.